listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, team. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's The Bachelorette After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's The Bachelorette After Show.
Am I good? Am I good?
You're fantastic. Hey guys, we all know that Bing is for doing, and what are we doing? We're doing another after show for AfterBuzz TV. This is The Bachelorette Season 8, Episode 6. Now, what do you guys think of the show so far tonight? How was it? Quick thoughts.
Good. Pleasant.
Pleasant. You sound like Emily. Oh my gosh.
I was going to say
awesome.
Uncomfortable at points,
Oh,
but in
yeah?
a good way. I don't know.
Yeah, I was pleasantly uncomfortable in that case.
All I gotta say is finger plucking.
I thought you were going to say something else with finger. I thought you were just going to leave it there. And I was
No.
like, whoa.
Finger plucking.
Man leg shaving.
That was that's just weird. Hey guys, what's up to the chat roll, to all our fans at home? If you guys are watching us on AfterBuzzTV.com, hello. But if not,
Hello.
yes. If you're listening,
And if not, goodbye.
there we go. If you're listening to us on iTunes, please make sure to subscribe, comment, tell a friend. We've got a whole bunch of wonderful shows. We've got everything from American Idol to Rizzoli and Isles to The Choice. We've got so many shows. It's free content for you guys. And all we ask for you is to comment and let us know you care, because it keeps the lights on. All right, but we need to introduce the panel. First off, let me start to the beautiful lady in front of me who's a star of David Hasselhoff commercials, from Lean Pockets, you name it, for Miss Teen Alabama, Canden Bliss.
That was quite a plug. Thanks, JC.
And we cannot forget Miss Jenna Time herself. That's right, the relationship and intimacy expert.
Hello.
Jenna Couture. Let's get some applause for Jenna. Let's get some energy going. There we go. And of course, the news never looks so pretty, of course, with Cathy Cupcake Kelley.
Thanks, Cathy Cupcake.
She
We
always
haven't
makes
had cupcakes in 2 weeks,
I know.
JC.
Maybe next
not
week.
me, it's
next
Cathy.
Week. I'll bring them
I won't
in.
even be here.
Oh no, we'll you know what? They hold rather well. I had one of
That's
her.
good.
I
I'll eat
saved
one for you.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
I saved one of yours for like a couple days, and it was awesome.
Yeah?
Like seriously, they hold. We'll save
good.
one for
All
you.
right.
But we have to round out the round table. Is that how you say it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Krisily, stop giving me a hard time. You may know her as the final two for Charlie O'Connell's season, that's right, and also Bachelor Pad, but she's also the star host of Rizzoli and Isles here at AfterBuzz TV. It is Miss Krisily Kennedy.
What's up, guys?
Nice. All right, guys. Croatia. Sexy. Hot. Okay.
They kind of look cold, to be honest.
All in their
know.
hoodies.
I'm trying to jazz it up a little bit because, you know, we're in the middle of the season and it's kind of like humming along. I want to jazz it up a bit, aside from the guys crying so darn much, which we will get into. Of course, let's talk about our first date, our first crier of the evening, Travis.
Wait, when did he cry? Oh, at the end. That's right.
Yeah.
See.
That's right.
I think rejection hurts no matter what. If you weren't even really interested in her or whatever, if you got sent home, it would still be like, oh, I just got sent home on national TV. I know they all know that it's coming, but still, it just sucks.
I think they also like really like Emily. And to get sent home by her, that really sucks. Like, you have a chance, and then it's taken away.
I really fell in love with Travis, though.
I did
Not
too.
as much as I love Sean, but...
No, I felt bad for Travis. I mean, for some reason, I was very much engaged in their date.
Yeah.
I mean, because they had a lot of...
substance.
Substance, exactly. They could have a conversation. They were not necessarily intellectual, but it was just a comfortable conversation, and they actually had things to talk about, rather than just like, so, what do you want to tell me about yourself?
Yeah.
It was a conversation of substance, but I feel like they didn't have that chemistry, and you could tell the entire time of the date. Like, she was, like, holding his arm, but it was like...
Yeah.
there wasn't anything there.
No, I didn't sense any awkwardness. I mean, she was really having a good time. I mean, yes, at the end she had to realize it's a friend good time and not a romance good time, but I didn't think that she was awkward at all. I think she was very comfortable.
Krisely's giving the hairy eyeball what?
No, you know, I think that Travis is an all-around great guy. I just don't think he's great for Emily. And I agree. I don't think that their date was awkward so much as there just wasn't any chemistry. It was like two friends going to dinner. There was never any passion or any intimacy at all. And I just feel like he's a great guy, but she needs someone that has a little bit more fire.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, and Jenna, you actually brought up the fact when they were holding hands, I don't know,
they were giving the friendship hold with their hands cupped palm to palm, not intertwined.
See, I didn't know that. See,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
that was, we're just getting there. We're warming up. Like that, don't hold hands yet then. Just hold off on holding hands.
So FYI, like dating advice, basically, if you're going to hold someone's interest, make sure your fingers
involved. Get invested in the hand holding.
No, you never know.
Little.
No, because you called it early on. You said, well, it's a friendship hold. And then it was right at the beginning of the date. And he ended up getting sent home. So those little body language signs do mean something at the end. So yeah, I don't want to say, he seemed like the gay best friend. With him being straight, he's straight. I don't want to be misconstrued at all, but it just seemed very like they could go shopping and this kind of.
He's a little more feminine of a guy.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, and not in like a girly way, but just in a.
He's in touch
not
with
feminine
his
in a girl.
Yes,
he's in touch with his feelings.
He's emotional,
exactly,
and like fun, and not afraid of like somebody thinking something about him. Like he's very confident in a way. Does that make any sense?
Well, no.
He's confident, like, but it's not like a dude confident. Does that make sense? I know you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, he was. I think, okay, maybe it was also the fact that he hadn't been in a relationship in 2 years since he'd split up from his fiancée.
Little rusty.
That's still like I want Emily to meet someone at a point of strength. You know, hasn't dated anyone. I mean, that's I even wrote that down. It's not gonna hurt, it's not gonna help his chance in saying that. You know, she wants someone. Just the fact that he's on this show, she's beautiful, and he could be swept away in the whole moment of the whole experience. Yeah. Instead of like, let's say Ari or someone, it seems a little more natural.
Yeah, that's true.
But he did then like come on the show for love, like to find love. So you know that it's, I don't know.
Okay, he's there for the right reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could tell that he was there for the right reasons.
Yeah, breaking an engagement off is a huge deal. So I respect that he took time and was just getting, his paws wet. Maybe that wasn't the ideal time to get his paws wet on national television, but
do you think that he should have had like a warm-up date before going on the show with some other girl?
Yeah, maybe. But I thought he was so sweet. I mean, I kind of.
He's definitely a good guy. I mean,
I think he won't have a hard time dating when he after the show.
Not when he gets back to Mississippi.
Is he from Mississippi?
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe some of the girls from Bachelor Pad 3.
I probably know some people who live in his city. Was he from Meridian or something?
I'm not. We'll have to check. Well, someone tweet us where he's from, and Jenna can look it up throughout the show. So, Travis is gone. Not much to say. I wish him well. You think he'll be on Bachelor Pad 4? Because we know he won't be on 3.
I don't see him as the type of guy to do a Bachelor Pad.
No. He reminds me of Kirk, and you disagreed. I remember when he reminded me of Kirk from Bachelor Pad 2.
Kirk has more bite. He has more fire. Like Kirk's an awesome guy.
Okay.
But he has that fire in him. Like he's a ball of energy. He's a lot of fun. And I didn't get that with Travis. Like Travis is going to make someone a wonderful husband. Don't get me wrong. But I also can't help always thinking of the egg every time I see him.
I know.
That's all I see is egg.
Shelley.
Yeah.
God rest Shelley's soul.
So now he has a broken egg and a broken heart.
God rest her shell.
Oh, was it shell?
Instead of her soul, her shell.
Oh, okay.
I was making a joke. It's fine.
Thank you.
It's not even funny.
Well, let's move on to the group date. Any thoughts so far? Braveheart and Croatia. What was that all about?
I was confused.
Was it due to
if you're
budget
in
reasons?
Ireland, like that would totally make sense, but Croatia and the Irish.
It was because of the movie. ABC wanted to plug Brave or whatever it's called.
Did they have nothing else Croatian to plug? Do you know what I mean?
How many Croatian movies do you know about?
Well, none.
I'm just saying, like.
And let's see,
Good
Vlade
point.
Divac, who played for the Lakers. He's Croatian. Goran Visanic, who was an ER. There was some Croatian. Okay.
Is this like the 7 degrees of separation? Like,
I'm just trying to tie it all
country
together. I know.
style?
Trying to help ABC out here.
You know, they tied it together with the fact that she has 3 guys that are competing for her love, which obviously Emily had a little bit more than 3, and them competing in the games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was really the only tie-in. But bringing a bunch of guys to a cartoon is not necessarily a great date. But, you know, I know that wasn't Emily's pick.
I think they took it well, though. I mean, for the most part, when they showed the guys, they were like into it. I know Sean especially was into it, which was cute.
I've never been attracted to guys in kilts until tonight. So.
Oh, it worked for Jeff. I wrote that down.
But Jeff was
Jeff
no.
looked completely at home in the skirt and the socks.
But he was complaining.
I don't know what that means, but
No, but he was complaining that he was in a skirt.
I don't think any of them wanted to be in a kilt, but
But Jeff, he's wearing the knee-high, like, baby blue
it worked
socks.
for him. It looked like something he would normally wear.
no.
Totally.
Uh-oh.
You're a hater.
I'm not a hater. I just don't like the style.
Simmer down, ladies. Simmer down. I think there's going to be a fight here on the AfterBuzz set. Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh. Are you
I
defending
think
Jeff?
he's a sweetheart.
I love Jeff. I mean, he's great, Team Jeff, but I mean, I don't think he'd wear a kilt in daily life.
But he did wear the socks.
He did wear the socks.
I'm way okay with the dressing up. I just want to let everyone know I'm on the chat roll and I cannot respond for some reason. My keys are stuck, but I'm listening to everything you guys are saying and I'll put on your input into the show too. So, and Susie, I love Sean too.
Me too.
You and I have that in common.
I think you all loved him. Even
I
Emily
know.
loved him.
We have to stop mentioning it so much or people are going to drop us.
No, but Emily, said Sean in a kilt throwing the log around, kind of like.
He broke the log.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty sexy,
You could
right?
see up the kilt at one point.
Yeah, he flipped over backwards. I mean, my question was, are they wearing their underwear? Because, most Irish
My question
Scottish
is, does
dudes
it
don't wear
matter?
underwear.
Use your imagination.
I'm out of this.
Well,
This is not my
when
segment.
we got a glimpse, we had our answer. At
Boxer
least
briefs.
Sean had on some black boxer briefs, which I like boxer briefs. So good job.
Ladies, I'm going to get in trouble. You guys are going to hate me for the rest of the season, but how superficial you are in comparison to Emily. Emily didn't care about the big muscles and all. She cared about Chris's bravery.
Oh, his puny bravery.
You know what? I think that was the right thing to do. I think that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But I also feel like Sean didn't get rewarded at all for breaking that log, and that was pretty impressive. And I know she gave him a shout out later, but I mean, you can't just go buying a log on Amazon.com or anything. This is a pretty.
You gotta find those out in the woods.
No, you can buy on Amazon though.
White
that?
tidy
Pink
whities,
dresses.
pink dresses, whitey tidies.
Tidy whities?
Tidy
Tidy
whities.
whities.
There we go.
Took me a second.
I am dyslexic completely.
So basically, you can go on AfterBuzzTV.com and hit our banner, and it'll take you to Amazon, and you can make your any type of purchase you want, from pink dresses to the Bachelorette season DVDs, whatever you want. And actually, AfterBuzz gets a few cents to the dollar of that. And as we all know, it.
Keeps the lights on.
Thank you. Okay. Anyway, so okay, let's talk about Chris and that whole group date. It was his
I'm
time.
not a fan.
You have not been a
I
fan.
have not been a fan. Something about him creeps me out a little bit. Like, I don't know if it's just his facial expressions or what, but I just get a little creeped out. I don't think he's as handsome as she makes him out to be. Like, he's not a bad looking guy, but
Sure.
I just think there's some awkwardness about him that makes me uncomfortable.
But what about what he stands for and the person he is, and the stuff that she's looking for a possible stepfather to Emily and a great husband, and those type of values?
what person is he though?
We
He's so
haven't seen
young.
much of him, but I have to say, for being so young, for being the youngest guy that's left on the show, he is very mature for his age. For being a 25-year-old,
he is.
And
that's got to, I was such a loser dog in school. Like, I can only imagine what it's like what he's feeling around those guys, having like even though he doesn't have like the smallest muscles, like just not being able to compete in
The
any
awkward
of those.
archer state.
Yeah, in
Archer
any of
stance.
those. And just
you don't
losing.
need muscles to be good at archery. I've done archery and I have no upper
You
body
just need
strength.
to not
And
pose like
about
a
the
frog.
saying. Yeah.
What about the log thing?
The logging, tossing the log?
Yeah.
It was a total flop.
What about Ari? Well, Ari's
Literally.
kind of svelte, and Jeff is kind of svelte as well. So
What is filled?
Skinny.
yeah.
Yeah, they are a little skinnier.
Jeff
I noticed
had
that
more
about
muscles than I thought.
I noticed that about Ari a little more. I was kind of disappointed. He was a little thinner than I was expecting.
So you like
Who?
him? You like him kind of like
Ari.
Ryan-esque, huh?
No.
Ryan-esque.
I like him like
Ryan-esque.
Sean.
Okay, we all.
I like their personalities.
But they
Exactly.
I'm on the Chris bandwagon right now. I'm defending because they kissed. There was tongue. Come on. There was
She really likes him,
Yes.
and he seems like a good guy in comparison to a lot of the guys there.
But I don't think that he's going to sustain her because he is young. Like, he is young. And I know he seems very mature, but age does. I know we talked about this last week about the age experience kind of thing. But I think I can see already that there is a little bit of immaturity in him.
Well, and he's just a sales director. Didn't someone say in the news that I know Krisily, she's not she's not a gold digger, but they did say that she was out for successful men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tony's out, and I forgot what other Bachelor they said due to financial reasons. Supposedly, I did read that, but I don't know.
Joe said that in his statement after he was kicked off, was that Emily is into successful guys. She wants someone who's wealthy enough to sustain her family and her lifestyle. So,
do you think that got misconstrued a little bit, Krisily?
Absolutely.
She's like, I've just been waiting.
She's waiting.
I'm like, totally. I can't even imagine Emily, first of all, saying anything like that. I think from being on the show and doing both Bachelor and Bachelor Pad and knowing a lot of the cast and a lot of the stories that go out into the wet paints and the weeklies and all those things, you have to take them with a grain of salt. And Emily obviously lives a great life without a man. Of course, we all want someone that can bring something to the table.
Yeah, that can match what you're doing.
I think I think that he was just a little upset and didn't really know what else to blame it on. I mean, that's what my guess would be.
Is there any publication that you would trust? You know,
it's hard because there's definitely the interviews that they set up for you and that you do verbally give your information on, and we did a lot of stuff with OK and we did a lot of stuff with Us Weekly and The People and we do that stuff. So it's more of the he said, she said, I think this one, I don't believe any of that stuff because I just feel like unless it comes from the horse's mouth, it can be taken in so many different ways.
And even if you do give an interview, they can kind of like change your words around to mean something else.
Absolutely. Or they overheard something in conversation that was completely taken out of context, which you see a lot with cast.
Yeah.
So I feel like you have to take that stuff with a grain of salt and know that Emily is just, she's a really great girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's times where I want to shake her and say, what the heck are you doing? But for the most part, she's just a really great girl who took another chance and did it this way.
So far, how do you think of, I hate to say this gameplay, but how do you think Emily's actually gone throughout the season? What would you think? What would you like her report card, let's say midway through the season? Has she made the right moves? Has she
Progress report.
Yeah, we didn't even do this. We should have done it last week, like what your thoughts were like midway through the season, what you liked, what you haven't liked. But how would you judge Emily, since you have interacted with her and what do you think so far of her moves so far throughout the game?
I think they're great. She's one of my favorite bachelorettes. Next to Jillian, I feel like they've been two.
I was a really big fan of Jillian too.
I mean, who doesn't love Trista?
I know, Trista. She was my favorite.
She just, I think those three girls came in and they were really just real people, and Deanna as well. I mean, I feel like Emily has shown a more realness to herself that we've seen from other bachelorettes in a really long time, and I feel like she has her head on straight with the guys, and I feel like that shows each episode as she starts sending people home and the reasons she's giving on keeping and taking them. She's being very careful because she's been through it, not to fall in love with where they are, because, and I've said this to a million people, who's not going to fall in love with a private island?
Right.
Like, you get a private island for the day. When in real life do we date and go on a private jet? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't happen. And when you're going on to the show, you don't realize that. And that was something that I realized after I got home, that I fell in love with the situations. And she's not doing that. She's very realistic. And there's a couple of her guys that are pretty realistic about it too, which is very surprising to me.
I was going to ask you
She set
that.
the tone completely.
She did.
The next thing, do you think the guys are swept away in the moment more than actually Emily herself, since she's been through it a few times?
A little bit, but they're still guys. Guys
Yeah.
think totally different about, relationships and stuff. But do you guys think it's fair, Krisily, that she's dangling these roses in front of their faces when she leaves.
Ooh.
You know,
that was rough.
Our chat room. Susie said that today, and we were talking about it in the room as well, on how she grabs the rose and acts like she's going to give it to them. I mean, usually they just kind of leave it there,
I think
you know,
it's
and grab it after they say, "Would you like to take the rose?"
I think it might be a nervous habit for her.
I was just gonna say that.
Because when you watch her, she grabs it and she looks at it and she like plays
Squeeze
with it while she's trying to talk about something really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I agree 100%. I feel like that's exactly what she's doing. It's her something to hold on to in the moment that she just needs to get past the uncomfortableness. Because we don't want to break up with anybody. Like it's really hard to break up with anybody. And then there's TVs around, and then you know that the world is watching, and maybe they're not watching at that moment, but you know they're going to, and you want to be as careful with your words. And I feel like that's her comfort zone.
And she said so many times that she doesn't want to hurt anyone.
Right.
And that's, I mean, she knows that she's going to hurt them, whether it's they fell for her and she has to break their heart now, or they're just going to, you know, be embarrassed on national television.
She's not perfect. How about that? You know, I mean...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Honestly, I mean, at first I was kind of hard while we were watching. I was like, "Oh my God, how could she do that?" But it happens.
Human.
Yeah, exactly. It was just it's a simple mistake. I'm sure if she could have that moment all over again, she would do it differently. You know, wouldn't Ben do that in his season?
He would make
He would
out.
make out, exactly. He would kiss.
Let's make out
someone
before I send you
and then
home.
send her home.
You know, and the first time, okay. If it happens to her, if she does it 2, 3, 4 times, then I'll be like, okay, Emily, you got to stop with dangling the rose.
She might not realize she's doing it, though.
Right, right, and that's what Krisily brought up. But let's talk about, let's say, how she comforts the guys. Like Sean, you know, that in the nightfall part of the date, she let him know, I just want to know where you stand, helped him feel very secure that you're one of my favorites. You know, and I think that's great. It's not as dynamic as the other seasons. Like, you don't have all the craziness going on, but it's being, like you said, it's just being real.
Yeah.
I will say, I think the guys have been a little bit better so far with the jealousy aspect. Like Jeff made a comment on the group date that he was like, I don't think about the other guys because I'm so confident in what we have and in our time together that, you know, I feel like I'm just here with her.
And today, the 5 guys had to watch her kiss Doug.
Awkward.
No, Chris,
Oh,
right?
Oh, Chris,
It was Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody really said anything. I mean, I think the guys, for the most part, are taking it a little more mature, and they're being like, hey, we signed up for this, except for Ryan back in the day. But
No, but how would you all feel? Like, let's say if you all were in that
well,
situation.
we know how girls feel.
No, if like there's a bachelor and he's making out with one of the girls, and you guys are on that couch about 20 feet away. What
it's
would
not
go
good.
through your mind?
That's not good.
No matter if it's a show or not, I would still feel so awkward. I'm not saying that Emily didn't, but I would just be, I don't know. I think in that moment, I would honestly cheek it. But then I know that she knows that it's a show and that they all know they're there in the, you know.
I don't know if
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And you try not to let the other girls or guys see it, and you try not to let your bachelor or bachelorette see it. But what happens is you start to discount your feelings. And you start to think, but I thought I had this with this person.
Yeah.
So if he has it with her too, then what makes me different? And you start to really question yourself, which, I mean, going on the show, whether you end up with the person or not, it's such a growing experience for reasons like that. Because you start to really question who you are and what you want.
does it harden you on the outside, let's say, for future relationships when you start seeing all these types of, I know it's on a TV show and it's heightened, but wouldn't it just almost make you disillusioned about love a little if you don't win? Because the way your emotions were just pulled out, and like Jeff opened his heart out, and then she gets the rose and takes it to Chris and makes out with him. You know, like you just said, his feelings are discounted. I mean, it must just make you feel like a Cuisinart inside.
It did the opposite for me.
Really?
It did the complete opposite for me, which I don't know if I went into it a little bit more guarded in relationships, but it did the complete opposite. I came out of the show knowing exactly what I wanted, what I wasn't going to stand for anymore, what Charlie helped me do, and I said it on the finale, was he helped me set the bar higher. And so you really start to question you and your relationships and the things that you want and need. And I feel like that the show made me more open in my relationships and my ability to show people that I cared. Because when you're on the show, you only have that split second. And in real life, you may have a little bit more. And I feel like there's a lot of us that don't take to that.
Yeah.
And I feel like it really opened me up to showing my feelings. Not that I'm still good at it, because I'm not, but I feel like it did the opposite for me.
I'm surprised no one's ever said that on the show, because I think that's great lesson that The Bachelor is.
It was huge. I got a lot of lessons from that show, and it was definitely a huge growing experience for me, especially the first time. Bachelor Pad, not so much growing. I just had to learn to control my mouth, which we all know I don't do well. But it did. It was a huge growing experience, and I feel like if you go into it in the right way, it's pretty helpful.
Well, hopefully with growing pains and teaching experiences, maybe our next guy Ryan can learn something about that. Canden,
Can
you're
we
ready.
learn anything?
No.
Canden, go for it. I know you have a lot of thoughts on Ryan.
I do, because it's sad when you see guys that attractive on the outside. I mean, and it's so stereotypical, but when you have that initial like, oh my gosh, he's so cute and I just want to see who he is, and then you really see it and you're so disappointed. I mean, I don't know how bad the editing is, but at the same time, those one-liners you cannot edit. So,
but she really went into how funny he was, how much chemistry they had, and I didn't see an overwhelming response. Like, I didn't see that too much. So there's just got to be so much we're not seeing, and so, a side of him that we're not seeing too. Because I mean, he just does seem like a confident, like maybe overly confident, but not maybe a terrible guy like he's depicted.
Like narcissism a little bit.
What she said on the show today was that he's so outgoing, and so their conversation just flowed. Like, and I think that's what she had with him.
I didn't see the conversation flowing though. Did you guys?
In the first half of the date, when they were driving and goofing off,
like
he was.
He's a talker.
Didn't you say that you had a mutual friend?
Yeah, a girlfriend of mine, Lauren from back home, she posted just today. I didn't really realize it, but she posted a thing about Ryan, and I actually knew that he was going to go home before I saw the show because I accidentally looked on Facebook, and I wasn't surprised at all. But she said that he was actually a really great guy. She said he is very confident, but that she said it was sad to see that he was portrayed so negatively. So,
well, and I think that his whole thing about, what he said the whole show is that, we're on this show, but I'm looking at you too, and I'm holding you to the same standard. You're not just looking at me, I'm looking at you. You're pretty and you're in this position, but, I still need to make my choice to be with you. And I think he put so much pressure on her that any girl would feel uncomfortable with that much. It's like, okay, I'm not putting all of this, be a perfect man. I'm asking you if you are, loyal, will stand by me, and if you want a family. And those are not,
I think he's confused about what confident is.
If he was just a little bit more humble, like if he had gone into it wanting to fight for her, I think he went into it thinking he had it in the bag. And
or
that was
she
his
had
downfall.
to fight for him, kind of thing.
Wouldn't it have been like a producer setup? Because I even wrote that because he said he wasn't sweating the rose when they sat down for dinner. He said, "I'm not sweating the rose." He was just, and I was like, "Oh, this is a total setup for him to just get the axe." Would they do something? Doesn't it make sense like that? Because Krisily, we've talked about producers setting up the story somewhat, and just as overly confident guy, like this bad guy, and of course women across, they're like, "Oh God, he's gone, yay!" Sounded weird, but just like, you know what I'm saying, it was like a set, you could see it coming.
Well, I feel like, you go into those interviews, they ask you a whole slew of questions about what's going on in the date, how are you feeling, and I think that he felt confident the entire time, and I don't think that had to be set up at all. I think that he went in feeling super confident, and I think that Emily really did question whether or not she should send him home, because she does see the good side of him, which obviously the viewers maybe didn't. I have seen a lot of other Bachelor and Bachelorette cast talk about they've met him or they've met friends of his and saying that he's a great guy. But, I feel like what happened with Ryan and where he went wrong is he thought about himself. Because even when he was talking, it was I. And even when she said no. It was still me. You're making a big mistake. It's all about me. And it's not called Ryan. It's The Bachelorette, and it's the way of the game. And yes, I do think he has to choose her as well. But I feel like he just did it in a very selfish way.
What about him like pushing that? Like, are you, like it was tense in that moment.
It's a manipulation tactic.
It is.
I mean, and the fact that
he said that.
The fact that oh yeah, he did say it. He said, I know how to manipulate the situation. And he totally does. That's, to me, a characteristic of narcissism, because I've dated a narcissist before, and I mean everything that he says, she always says I'm up and down and back and forth, and sometimes I know and sometimes I don't, and I'm insecure and then I'm confident. That's the ping pong ball that manipulative guys use. So that to me is the little spark of evil that I see in him.
But I mean, the one thing that I have to say is, if he is a great guy off this show, that I mean, maybe he is, but other guys on the show, when he left, they all hugged each other. They were so happy. So clearly he caused a rift in the house or something. Like, those guys saw something in him that was also bad.
Which makes me wonder if it was all fear for him. For the guys not to let, I mean, I was the most hated girl in the house. So, but for me, it was fear. I came across very hard and very rough because I was afraid. I was uncomfortable, and I wanted him to like me. I didn't really care if the girls did. And so it makes me wonder if for him it was fear, because I've been a hater of Ryan the entire season. And tonight made me question, like, I started to see things that he was doing, and I was wondering if it was a fear thing. Like, he thought he had it in the bag, and he said all these things, but inside I feel like he was just searching and not really sure. And so I wonder if that's where that came off from.
I agree with that completely. I think
Absolutely.
that's where guys who are overly confident, they're overcompensating for something.
Right.
It reminds me of the Kenny Powers archetype. I don't know if you're familiar with that show. It's this guy who's very braggadocious.
He's sounding down.
Yes, and he's just always saying like the wrong things, and it's just to put people kind of like off balance. But in the end, he's just this cute little kid that's insecure inside, kind of like Doug, who we'll talk about a little bit later. Yes, I'm cueing this. I've got a thing to say about Doug in a little bit, but let's take a little bit of a break, and when we come back, we got some interesting news, notes, the rose ceremony, predictions, and a whole bunch of other stuff. You're watching AfterBuzz TV.
Hey there, good buddies. The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man, no. I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AfterBuzz TV. And why? Because AfterBuzz TV is like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows, like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. No, I got some strong opinions. And AfterBuzz TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AfterBuzz TV goodness. Check them out. Give them a holler. And tell them the old Woolly Bear sent you.
All right, guys.
Woolly Bear.
Our commercial?
Yeah.
Love it. All right, so as Krisily is giving Jenna's dog Brule some spirit fingers, is that what you were doing right now? She's like, spirit fingers.
I see animals and my brain goes to mush.
Nice. Let's move on to the rose ceremony. Any thoughts? Anything going on, like the appearance of Wolf? I mean, John. Sorry, we call him John now.
Yeah, he's come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I still don't think he'll be around that much longer, but I think I like him now.
You guys were groaning and moaning because he was about to. Okay, Krisily was moaning and groaning.
Yeah.
When he started crying.
I just, I have a thing, and this is going to sound horrible and harsh, and people are going to hate me, and I'm totally okay with that.
Absolutely.
I feel like I have a problem with the sympathy thing. Like, I don't want someone to pick me because they feel bad for me. And I think that what he did was good. He reached out and he found something relatable with her. But I feel like he could have done it in a different way. And I feel very sorry for his loss. I really do. But I just feel like, why do you want the sympathy vote? Like, don't you want to get picked on?
I don't like the sympathy used as a tool to get closer. I don't like that at all.
I don't know that he was trying for it to be sympathy.
I think it was like he was busting out the big guns. He's like, I haven't really bonded. I need to create intimacy. And
something emotional.
Yeah, how do you create intimacy? Oh, you share secrets. You're emotionally vulnerable. That's how. And he was like, all right, nobody knows this, but I'm going to announce it on national TV.
And she knows loss, so she knew and I feel like he's a great guy. I wouldn't want the sympathy vote.
Okay.
I would use something else to get closer.
You wouldn't, but maybe Emily would, because she even said, I understand you because I went through it. So it was like his ace in the hole. I hate to say it that way.
I think he was going home until that moment.
I do too.
Yeah, she said that.
What if he tried something throughout that we didn't see? Because I'm sure they've had many interactions throughout. They've been together 6 weeks now.
Well,
I think Travis said
that we saw a conversation between the two of them, it was nice. It wasn't bad.
The awkward dinner, you mean, with she and Ryan?
Two on Nate.
Oh, was it Nate? Sorry, Nate.
Yeah, the 2-on-1. I mean, he had a genuine conversation. This was just as genuine, just a little different.
But you have so little time to open up on that show, as I mean, we all know, Krisily, you've said so many times, and I feel like this, if he had said it in the first week, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But now that he's waited this long, it feels like it's a sympathy thing. Because I feel like in his mind, he thought like, oh my gosh, I'm probably going home tonight. And he pulled that out. Or maybe it wasn't even maybe he didn't think that would get him the save. I don't know what he was thinking.
It was weird, like, because John and Doug kind of played the same thing, because Doug even had the ugly cry tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm probably like terrible in ugly cry, so I'm not going to make fun of anybody doing the ugly cry.
I'm not making fun of him,
Who
but
is like a sexy crier? Like that was the sexiest cry.
Do you watch movies?
I mean, I am. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, when I cry, I'm sexy.
That is what I want.
we probably have you. There's
Especially
probably
when
10
you're wearing
episodes of you
mascara.
crying on Bat. Did you ever
Never
cry on
cried.
it? No.
No, not even when I got dumped on national television, live national television. No, never cried.
Oh, not even Pad?
Oh, God, no. There was nothing to cry about in Pad. Sorry. No.
All right, but okay, so then that illustrates my point even further. Why did Doug cry? It wasn't like she was breaking up with him.
No. At that point, he was talking about his son.
Right.
And he missed his son. And he said something about, like, I miss you, baby, or something. And it was kind of weird, but it was not a cute cry. I mean, sweet in a way, but...
I mean, you're free to go. I mean, Tony, the thing that
Yeah.
happened to Tony a few weeks ago as well. He cried and left, but I'm just saying... Man, guys, and Doug's a big guy. He'd squash me like a grape. But I'm just saying...
He is a big guy. I just really noticed that this week.
But
He
deep
is
down inside,
huge.
I even wrote, I think, does he hide behind his muscles?
He's one of those, like, big, tough softies.
Yeah.
Teddy bears.
Which I get...
I love bears.
we won't even get
Not
into
even go
that.
bear.
Yeah.
I saw that bear picture.
But let's
Brad.
move on to the actual rose ceremony. Who got roses? Were you guys shocked at what happened? At the fact that she ended up keeping... You guys were struggling.
Yeah.
The way that they edited that was just so mean.
It was mean.
And having her give Chris the rose and then come back out and be like, no rose to the two guys who are still standing there roseless. And then Chris walks in with 2 roses. That was just mean to them. Like... They probably thought they were both going home.
Definitely.
America thought they were both going home.
And they're in their suits till 4 a.m. and...
It's like a 6-hour night as is, and then she just walks out. And I remember Charlie doing that one night too, and we were all just like, what God's name is happening?
Right.
Because it's a long night. And I mean, whether you get sent home or not, like, or whether you think you're comfortable or not, like until you get that rose, you're shaken, So it's a scary place.
Well, I was surprised at the rose ceremony that Ari didn't get a rose first because of him sneaking out earlier.
Right. Oh, let's
talk
talk about that.
But he had the confidence that he knew he was getting one.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was sweating it. And I don't think that she felt like he was sweating it.
Yeah.
I knew she was going to pick Sean first. Because he kind of deserved that.
Yeah.
After not getting the Brave Award.
And she said it early on. She
Yeah.
was, she reassured him that your spot is secure
Yeah.
here. So now you brought up the fact that the producers or whatnot, they kind of set it up. When we were...
Well, they don't set it up. I mean, it's not like there's
Ari.
never, right. A producer never comes up to you and says, could you please go do this? That will never happen. But no one knows where Emily lives. Like, it's not like when you get to the location, they say, and this is where Emily's staying, and this is where you're staying. So if they didn't want that piece of story, which I think was important for people to see, then he wouldn't have been able to do that. So it's interesting to see that happen, because then as a viewer, you look at it and you're like, oh my God, how did he get to sneak out? Well, he didn't. They drove him. I mean, it's that's what it was part of the story, and it was a needed part of the
a producer
story.
approach Ari, or Ari approach the producer and say, hey, I really want to see her. And let's say if we talked about DJ Tony, was that his name?
Right, wouldn't have happened.
It wouldn't have happened.
No,
But
it was a crucial part to their story,
Sure.
Which makes me even more think that she's going to pick him now. I feel like it shows that he cares, and it was something that was beneficial to both him, Emily, and the show. So, of course, they're going to let that happen.
If she doesn't pick him, whoever she's engaged to or with is going to see their makeout sessions and hate themselves.
That's a really hard part of the show.
Yeah.
Is my finale was live, so we didn't know who he was going to pick until we got there. And watching the episode back with my family and friends and seeing him with other people, and I was just like, I would get so mad.
Yeah.
Because you think that you have, like I said, you think you have something, and then all of a sudden he has it with 12 other girls, and it's hard. But I think whoever she picks, she'll have a good enough relationship with, and they'll understand the process that, yes, it will still get sticky, but I think they'll be able to talk it out.
I was surprised by him on the show today where he said, I'm already in love with her and I want to propose to her. Like, I would propose to her tomorrow. That's this early in the show seems so, I don't know, like, how do you develop feelings that fast?
And
like,
you've all mentioned that it's supposed to be the most beautiful love story ever on Bachelorette's history. So all this little stuff's fleshing out their story, the Ari and Emily story. These little nuggets that like you picked up, it was wonderful. And you're like, back it up, let's,
yeah.
You know, so definitely it is.
How long is it gonna last?
Well, so
we saw in the previews already, yeah.
That's
how long's what gonna last?
Ari.
Are you already talking about next week with?
Well, that seemed like a good segue.
No, it's fantastic. Fantastic. No. With is it Cassie or Casey? I always Cassie.
Well, we've brought this up on the show before. That, does she know? Does she not know that Ari was in a relationship with Cassie, the producer, who is her left-hand girl or whatever, right-hand girl?
Maybe they're watching AfterBuzz or something. So they, we've talked about it just about every week. So
maybe we brought it up and then they decided that now it's out there in the universe.
Kidding. Yeah, but so what's going to, because she was pretty serious on that outtake.
She seemed pretty upset.
And it looked like Cassie that was interviewing her.
Yeah.
And I feel like Cassie can't divulge that information because it's part of her job and there's things she can't tell Emily about the show and what's going on. Obviously, she can't tell him about what the guys are saying behind her back, so she couldn't tell her this, and I think it was put on Ari. And so I feel like, of course, Emily would feel betrayed because there's this person that she's felt safe with through the process. And whether it was a day, a week, a month, or a year, you're still going to feel that betrayal woman to woman. So I think that's, I also think they're making a little bit of a bigger deal of it than it was. But because Emily was affected, I feel like they had to show it.
Okay, so you don't see like a big tailspin out of this.
I mean, I think that we'll probably see a tailspin because it creates great drama. But do I think that Ari's going home because of it? Absolutely not.
I don't think so either.
I think he's final too.
And this is important in relationships. Everybody is somebody's ex. I mean, just about, unless you're getting, puppy love. It's so important to, you will absolutely terrorize yourself if you think about every person that the person you're dating with has been with.
But I think it's different being on a TV show and you're already questioning, are these guys here for the right reasons? And then you get thrown that curveball where, the guy that you were falling for, it seems like the guy that she's had the most connection with.
That's the first reality TV that I've seen on this show so far. Like, yeah, there are people that are
this will be the second time that she's had to question Ari's loyalty, though. Because last week she, had him on the chopping block for not telling her about Kaylin.
Because she has him on a pedestal.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I think he's going to fall even harder because of it. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. That's
if he was just like mediocre at this point, I think she would overlook it and give him a chance. But I don't know, because he is on such a high pedestal. If she's constantly being disappointed, I don't know how long he'll be able to stand it.
Well, and I was just reading tonight that Ari thought that she already knew, that the producer said to him that they had already told her and that she knew.
That may be true, and maybe he wasn't allowed to bring it up. Maybe it was kind of both ways.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I've heard it both ways. Like he didn't know, or
What do you know, Chris?
I don't know anything. I don't. It's funny because it's such a fine line to cross. Yeah. The producers never tell you to say anything or not to say anything. They really don't. So I don't. Maybe he was told that she knew, but he definitely wasn't told not to talk about it. Really? Do you know what I mean? Like
And why would
they
he
don't
anyway?
do that. They really don't. Like, they want to make a great TV show, no doubt, but they don't tell you what to say and what not to say. They might say maybe you should try it this way instead of that way and helpful stuff, but they don't. Okay. They meddle in the ways to make it good, but not in the ways to make you look. You know what I mean? Like, because that's a big thing, and I just don't. I don't feel like they would have said to him, please don't talk about it. I feel like they would have probably just let him bring it up when he should.
Do you think they thought that it wouldn't get out that they had dated?
I don't know.
Nowadays?
For me, I still feel like it's a bigger deal than it actually was, but obviously she was affected because I know, like, producers have lost their jobs over stuff like this, and I feel like if it was something that was really serious, I just don't feel like they would have made it. They would have made it such a thing.
Well, quickly before we go on to news and predictions, any thoughts about John and Doug staying an extra week? Does it matter?
I don't think it's going to buy him any more time.
No?
No, one or two of them is going next week, I think,
Definitely.
I don't think either of them is going to be final one, so.
No.
Okay. So it's like why did they do that? I guess I
I
question
think she
it too.
just feels bad. I think it was just really hard for her.
And I think she wanted to give them a little bit more time to see if she had anything there. She knows that she has connections with other people, and she didn't dislike them enough to send them home, but she didn't like them enough to keep them. And I feel like that was the line she fought with. That was her battle.
You
tonight.
called it a producer move. Think like a producer. So that's
Well,
why.
because it was so funny when she gave Chris the rose, you guys were all like, she's sending them both home. And I was like, no way. Come on, it's a setup. Think like a producer. Like, it makes better TV to make it look like they're both going home.
Yeah.
And then they're not.
All right, so time will tell if the lovely Doug and the hulking John, or actually the hulking Doug and the lovely John, go home next week. Moving on to news and predictions. What do you got for us, Cupcake Kelly?
Well, for news this week, again, on the call after the show, they had a contestant that is currently on the show. Like last week we had Sean, I believe he kind of talked about the date
Sean.
and coming up. And this week they had Ari on.
Really?
Yeah, and he talked about this episode that aired tonight and how his feelings really progressed and how he kind of fell in love, like in Croatia, and that was interesting.
Wow. So this is the week that it did it for Ari.
Yeah.
When he fell in love.
Yeah.
Any news on BP3?
We have a lot of news on BP3. As we mentioned last week, they started filming and they announced the cast as well.
And I was wrong. I hate to admit it. I was wrong. I also hate to admit I lied about crying. I cried on Bachelor Pad too. Bachelor Pad.
I knew it. I knew
Over
that.
the pie.
That's why I asked.
I couldn't eat the pie. I couldn't compete, and I thought I was getting sending home, and I cried about the pie.
Oh.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna read. I have to read the list of people.
Which, by the way, did you know any of these people? Because I knew 4 of them.
Well, Kaylin.
Yeah. But I was like, who are some of these people?
I have my hipster glasses on.
Okay.
For Kaylin.
Very,
oh my
very
gosh,
Jeff
I have my
1F.
glasses over here too. We can totally be like nerdy pink girls.
I know.
While you guys nerd out, so tell us who's on the list.
Kaylin, obviously from Emily's season. Tony Piper from Emily's season.
DJ Tony.
Yeah.
Of course.
Not D.
No.
No.
Oh.
No, it's not the DJ.
Dad Tony.
Dad
Tony, who can't be away from his child and somehow is
So
doing
DJ
bad.
Steve.
It's DJ
Steve. Sorry.
How?
So
Yeah.
Daddy's gonna go back on another
And
show.
one of the things, though,
gosh.
is they did let Michelle Money see her kid during filming of Bachelor Pad, I believe. So maybe they're making an exception for him.
Well, he's gonna cry
Yeah,
again.
but
if
you
not,
can't
so.
cry about not being away
know.
from your child and then go on another show. I mean, let's face it. Like,
Yeah.
he's gonna take heat for that. Like,
Yeah.
there's girls every season who have children at home that don't cry about it.
Yeah.
And that was your thing for leaving. So,
Yeah.
cry me a river.
Maybe he realized that his kid didn't care that much. That he was
But we got some winners on there
yes.
as well.
Well, we have Reed Rosenthal, who is on Jillian's season. He famously proposed to Jillian after he got sent home. And there's some drama with that because one of the girls that's on there is Sarah Newlin. And apparently they hooked up with each other at the Bachelor reunion while Reed had a girlfriend. He was dating Miss USA, former Miss USA, Kristen Dalton. So Entertainment Weekly just kind of
What
put
about
that all
Ed?
out there.
Which I have to say is really weird because that was the Vegas reunion. And I was with Sarah until 2 in the morning and I didn't see Reed anywhere there.
Yeah.
So I find it a little hard to believe. I think people might be starting stories, but I could
You
be
may
wrong.
find it hard, but at 2:05 they were down. I'm
I
just
could be
saying.
wrong.
What about Ed and Jillian?
we
Ed's
have
back.
Ed from Jillian's season, who
That's weird.
Yeah.
was with her, and she actually wrote on her blog today that she's really excited for him.
Yeah. And she
which-
thought about coming on with him.
Yeah, she was
What?
almost going to come on with him, but she had a show that she was filming that conflicted with.
They're not
Bachelor
together,
Pad 3.
right?
No, they're done. And
Okay, I was like,
she
good.
said she's actually hoping that he meets someone. So it was very mature of her. Props to Jillian. I
talk
would
all
not
the
be
time
able
on
to do
Twitter.
that.
They do.
Yeah.
They had a great relationship.
So
said
we,
that they're
so we have
friends.
some regulars
Yeah.
from past seasons, but what about
But-
the fans that are on?
Yeah.
There's some people that aren't part of the Bachelor franchise that have been included. Who
Well,
are these people?
We have, just before we get to that, we have a lot of girls from Ben's season.
Yeah,
And
really?
then
Ooh.
Erica Rose again, who was also on. We mentioned Michael Stagliano, who was the winner of last year.
Which I would think he'd
So
be the
weird.
first one. They would
Right.
be the
I
first
know.
2 sent home. Unless somebody grabs onto Michael and says, maybe he'll help me win. But I would think if I was in that house and somebody would, especially Erica and Michael, I mean, these people have all seen the show. They know
Yeah.
both Erica and Michael. Michael's a great guy. We know how Erica acts.
Yeah.
They'd be the first 2 I sent home.
He already
First
said
2.
though he's there for love this time. time around.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's there for love. He already had a shot and he won his money. Go.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Why do you think they put him on there?
Michelle Money
Because
was
he
very
must-
angry about that, by the way, on Twitter.
And Emily was really upset about Kalen. She said she didn't ever want to see his
She
face on
wanted
her
to
TV
stab
again.
her eyes out with dull pencils.
She did.
is what
She was really upset. Really upset
AfterBuzz
about
exclusive?
it.
Kind of?
Yeah,
Not really.
no,
Really upset.
it's all over Twitter.
But I don't think that. I mean, I love Michael. He's the Staglianos are an amazing family. They really are. But I mean, he must be interested in one of the girls, which leads me to Lindsay because that's kind of his type.
Yes.
Lindsay?
Yeah, Lindsay's
Well,
on.
that is another interesting piece because some of the guys and girls that were cast who are super fans, there are 6 of them, but 2 of them are twins and competing as one person. Some of them have said...
That's going to be
I know,
awkward.
it's going to be really awkward.
And they're
but-
from the Jersey Shore,
Yes.
and they've hooked up with all the guys on the Jersey Shore.
Yes,
No,
we
one of
tweeted
them-
about it.
One of them claims to be a virgin still.
Wait, the twin
Yeah.
girls
Yes.
How can
that are auctioning themselves off on eBay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just
Yeah.
gross.
But some of the guys on there, one of the guys, I think it was David is his name, said that he's really attracted to Lindsay. So there'll probably
Is
be
this the
some
cop?
hookups there.
The cop super fan, I believe. It's an
don't know
MMA
which one
fighter
he
or
is.
something.
Yeah, he's an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
I'm excited to see Lindsay again.
yeah, and then there's also one more guy from Emily's season who hasn't left Emily's season yet.
Oh, we gotta see it.
The producers tweeted tonight, oh, is it Ryan? But he's been tweeting all night, so we know that it's not him unless he already got sent off of Bachelor Pad.
Okay.
So
Is that? Let's move into predictions from the Ryan because I want to see your prediction if Ryan's gonna be on Bachelor Pad 3.
Your AfterBuzz TV.
I don't think so.
No.
I know that that Ryan's not on Bachelor Pad 3 because he's tweeting, and they're not allowed to tweet in the house. So we know that it's not him.
So it's a done deal. Okay.
It could be. I mean, how many guys we have? 6
Six guys left.
I don't think it would be Doug.
Better not be Sean. Sean,
I
no.
don't think. Yeah.
Don't say it.
What?
Say it.
I think it's Chris. Your favorite?
Oh, you think Chris?
Yeah, he seems like the only one that would like
The
want to
Dave
do
Good
it.
doppelganger. Okay.
I don't think Ari would do it. And he's been tweeting. Sean's been tweeting. Who else has been tweeting? We know that Jeff has been Instagramming everything. So
You're
we know
sleuth.
that's
Jeff,
not him.
Ari, and Michael. Michael with the ponytail. They've been
Yeah.
Instagramming and tweeting each other all week.
I love Michael now. Like
Yeah.
after he's been off the show, seeing his Instagram, I think he's awesome.
I feel like
And
we
he cut his
we
hair.
never got a chance
He
to
cut his
see
hair
him.
too. Yeah.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
I think he
looks
would be so
good.
handsome with
He
not
looks
that hair.
really good. Yeah.
All right, so we have some predictions. So who do you think should be Bachelor Pad 3 and what's going to happen next week?
Wait, what is the question?
Who do you think that
Who
current
do you think the
contestant?
final guy is on Bachelor Pad 3?
Oh, man. I mean, it's easy to assume it'd be Ryan, but obviously we see that it's not.
Scoop says no.
So I don't know. I don't really see any of the guys being able to really carry it. I mean, whoever it is not going to be there that long, in my opinion.
I think I know who's going to be on it.
Who?
Doug. Because Doug has this like Lord Emperor kind of thing going on. He's like the mayor, and he's going to try that on Bachelor Pad, and you know that's going to cause all sorts of friction.
Doug for mayor.
Angry Doug.
No, I'm sure, and that's
Ooh,
that's
maybe
what
we will
producers
see
would
angry
want.
Doug.
You know, he likes
He's a
to.
loose cannon.
Yeah, of course. I think it's
I
going to
can
be
see
Doug.
that. I can see that.
And as for next week, who's staying, who's going? Any thoughts before they give us the hook?
I think Wolf's gonna go home.
Think Wolf?
Yeah.
I think Wolf and Doug are going home. I think she
Yeah.
just bought him one more week of fun and trips.
Are we gonna see one guy go home, or are we gonna see 2?
I think we see 2
think we
and then
see 2.
hometown
Then
Okay.
hometowns.
because one should have gone home
So
tonight.
Yeah,
then-
6 to 4.
Yeah.
So then
hometown.
one should-
both
have
of them
got-
are probably going home.
Yeah, one should have gone home tonight, so 2 are gonna have to go home next week.
Chris may be going home though. I don't
You think
know.
Chris?
I think he's gonna make it to hometown dates. I think they have something.
Yeah.
I agree with the Sherbert twins. I'm going to go with Doug and Wolf are gone. Well, they're giving us the hook, guys. So if you're sticking around live, make
Thank
sure
you to the chat roll.
Yes, chat roll. Make sure to watch the season premiere of Glass House. We've got Justin, Walter, Daryl, and Bam, and the whole crew giving you the coolest Big Brother-esque, but you're in control of it coming up after us. But quick,
super cool.
Canden, where can you find us?
You
Or
guys
find
can
you?
tweet me at Canden Bliss, or you can tweet all of us at AfterBuzz TV.
What about Jenna?
I'm at Jenna Time Tweets.
You can tweet me at Cathy Kelley.
And Krisily.
At Krisily.
That is such a long handle. And I'm the Everyday Man, and we're AfterBuzz TV. We'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Later.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.